the Director Marketing for FinMet India Private Limited, is going to be our first speaker. Mr. Prem Nath has got an experience of more than 35 years in precious metals and base metals trading and hedging of price risk while working with the nominated agencies like MMTC, Scotiabank and Karur Vysya Bank. At present, he is working as Director Marketing with FinMet. Is quite passionate about precious metals business. He participated in important meetings of various committees constituted by Government of India for the formulation of policy on gold and price risk management of various commodities in overseas commodity exchanges also. He's also had the privilege of being a guest speaker and a visiting faculty at LME and CME seminars in India. Our next speaker this morning, ladies and gentlemen, last year when we all met for the India Gold Conference in Chennai, history was created. While all of us were seated there in Chennai, we connected live with the inauguration of India's first ever IIBX live from Gift City, which was inaugurated by none other than the Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji. And of course, IGC participated in the entire event remotely as a collaborator and as a stakeholder in the gold ecosystem of India. So it gives me great pleasure to introduce our next speaker on the stage this morning. Mr. Ashok Gautam is the first Managing Director and CEO of India International Bullion Exchange, IFSC Limited at Gift City. And he joined his leadership role in February 2022, a seasoned professional with MBA, FRM qualifications and experience of over 36 years with leadership roles across treasury and financial management. Ladies and gentlemen, have a great and an interactive day ahead.
I would like to have more discussion, interactive session rather than only theoretical part of it. So basically, this is for understanding of gold and silver imports under India and UAE, CEPA, and the role of IIBX. So India and UAE are one of the largest trading partners. In fact, UAE is the third largest trading partner of India, so it has a very important role in India's trade with UAE. And now we are going to discuss about the gems and jewelry sector under the comprehensive export promotion. So this agreement of comprehensive export promotion agreement has been signed in March 2022, and this was basically for the gems and jewelry sector. The export of gems and jewelry from India to UAE has been for that the custom duty has been reduced from 5% to 0%. So UAE has done a wonderful job. Our exports of gems and jewelry have been growing over there because of this. And on the other hand, in return, India has also reduced the import duty on gold from by 1% from the effective rate of duty. So at present the effective rate of duty is 15%. So whatever gold is imported from UAE to India, the duty will be applicable at 14%. So 1% reduction. And this reduction is not for the entire quantity of import, which India imports about 700-800 tons. It is limited to certain quantity. It has been capped. So for the first year, financial year, the quantity has been capped at 120 tons for the last financial year. Next, current year, that is 23-24, it is 140 tons. Then 160, 180 and 200 on the fifth year. From fifth year to 10th year, the quantity remains constant at 200 tons. And the duty at 140 tons, at 1%, it comes to about 700 crores, which the Indian government has to forego for this thing. The quantity, how this quantity of 140 tons has to be allotted to the jewelers in India. There is an online system of the DGFT wherein the applications have to be filed and they have to give all their details, whether they are manufacturer, name, IEC code, etc. Everything has to be there. And then they can apply, and after application, then the DGFT reviews all the applications, whether it is in conformity, and then they allot the TRQ commodity tariff rate quota quantities to each one. Eligibility conditions in the beginning, when the CEPA was signed, at that time the eligibility conditions were very strict because only jewelers could apply, having at least 3 years turnover of jewelry and gold, etc., a minimum of 25 crores. And then 90% of that sale has to be in terms of jewelry, not bullion. So basically, bullion traders were not allowed in that case. And the other entities who are not into jewelry business, they were not allowed in the first stage. Later on, the eligibility conditions were relaxed in April 2023. On the 17th of April, they announced that any entity having IEC code can apply for the TRQ, and they can get the gold imported from UAE to India through some eligibility. Apart from the eligibility conditions, there are certain sources who can import gold on behalf of the TRQ holders. So total quantity of TRQ this we have already discussed, 140 tons, 160 tons, and who can import the TRQ gold? Only nominated agencies authorized by the DGFT or the Reserve Bank of India can import the UAE CEPA gold, or IIBX, India International Bullion Exchange, can import through the qualified jewelers. So these are the two sources whereby the gold can be imported into India at concessional rate of duty of 1%. But all the importers have to follow certain rules which are called IGCRS rules. These are import of gold at concessional rate of duty and specified end use 2022 rules. So these rules are also very strict. Initially in these rules, when these rules were framed on 9th of September 2022, the notification has been issued and all the rules have been given in that notification. So in that notification, they clarified, they mentioned that the gold was excluded for job work. Gold and gems and jewelry, etc. are all excluded. So job work was not permitted. Basically, then TRQ holders, those who are manufacturers, could apply. Nobody else could apply. But later on, it was realized by the government and by the representation of the Jewelry Council, IBJA, and other people. They realized that 90% of the people in India, they get the jewelry manufactured on job work basis. So on 10th of September, next day itself, they relaxed the norm, and then they mentioned that those only importing gold directly, job work restriction is only for those people. Those who are not importing directly, for example, those TRQ holders who are getting supply from the nominated agency, for them, the job work restriction is not there. So they can get the jewelry manufactured. Those who are importing, buying through nominated agency, and nominated agency in turn are buying from the overseas UAE. And then because there is a duty concession of 1%, so TRQ holders have to submit the custom duty bond to the custom authorities, so that the duty foregone by the custom is taken care of till such time their bond is cancelled. Those QJs having TRQ license in their own name, as per the IGCRS rule which have been revised, so those QJs having TRQ license in their own name can import directly through IIBX in their own name for their self usage also. Since IIBX is the only one where the qualified jeweler can import directly, and if they are importing directly, the bill of entry has to be filed in their own name, and therefore they have to be necessarily by the own manufacturer. So this restriction is hampering IIBX, in fact, because on the nominated agency side, those TRQ holders who are getting supply from nominated agencies, they can be manufacturer, they can do the job work also, and some people are saying that maybe that they can do the bullion trading also. But this is not yet confirmed in black and white, although custom people are saying they can do bullion trading also. But that clarification still required from the custom side. There is provision of amendment in the application of TRQ for changing the name of nominated agency or QJ, and also changing the port of shipment. Import of goods at concessional rate of duty for specified end use were notified in this notification which is given. This notification definition of job work has been defined that this was excluded as we discussed earlier. And then the next day clarification was given that job work is only for the direct imports, otherwise not. Then when the nominated agency take the custom, they have to submit the custom duty bond, then nominated agency has to also, cover their risk. So they take the 1% duty margin, custom duty margin from the jewelers, from the TRQ holders who want to take supply from nominated agencies. So their margin, custom duty margin, whether it is in terms of FD or cash margin, that got stuck up till such time their bond is cancelled. And so far the custom duty bond which has been submitted by the customs, by the nominated agencies to the customs, that has got stuck up because there is no SOP or there is no clarity how that custom duty bond will be cancelled by the custom for the nominated agencies. And in turn, the TRQ holders margin is stuck up with the nominated agencies. TRQ holders taking supply from nominated agencies can use the gold for manufacturing of jewelry, or they can as per the IGCRS rules, but the QJs importing gold against TRQ in their own name through IIBX have to be manufactured themselves. So this is a restriction which we need to get it removed from the custom side. I think this application, this request has already been taken with the custom people, and hopefully it should be resolved soon. So we wish that there has to be a level playing field for those importing TRQ gold through IIBX also. And if we compare there has been a very low utilization of TRQs allotted the last year. For example, in the last year 22-23, when the TRQ allotment was done, sometime in, I think, June 2022, 178 applications were received for the TRQ. For the first 2 quarters, 50 tons was allotted to 178 entities, TRQ holders. And after that, utilization was very low. So then subsequently, although they removed some eligibility conditions also, but still there were some apprehensions whether manufacturing is possible, whether job work is permitted or not, bullion trading can be done or not. Bond cancellation was also a hassle. So all that things were not clear. So subsequently, for the next quarter, that is third quarter, I think 49 applications were received, and for the last quarter, only 35 applications were received. So for the total year altogether, only 8.1 ton to be precise, was imported under CEPA from UAE. Gold was imported 8.1 tons against allotted quantity of 110 tons. So it was a very low response from the Indian side because of various reasons, as we discussed. Now, what we are recommending here is CBIC is requested to issue suitable guidelines to the field formations, that is custom offices at various ports, for the cancellation of custom duty bond of nominated agencies, and CBIC is requested to make system for online submission of required document through ISGate functional for cancellation of bonds. Although custom people have been telling that everything has been done, it is functional, but on the ground reality, the field formation people are not much aware of it, and whenever nominated agencies are going, so they are not able to cancel their bonds. Nominated agencies are requested to contact CBIC for the challenges faced and resolution of the same, that security margin of custom duty can be released to the TRQ holders. Then silver can be, there is a silver CEPA also. Silver can be imported from UAE at custom duty of 9% at present, which 5% is basic, 4% is AIDC during financial year 22-23. And duty will be totally eliminated to zero during the total plan of 10 years, which is the validity of the CEPA. No requirement of silver is very liberal. Silver, no requirement of TRQ application is required, and silver being a restricted item, it can be imported through nominated agencies. IIBX is not yet permitted for silver. Hopefully, they should also get license very soon, I believe, and then silver can be used from imported through IIBX also. This silver can be used for bullion trading because there is no IGCRS rule applicable for silver. So this silver can be, so in this respect, there is a very much clarity. The silver can be used for bullion trading also, as IGCRS rules are not applicable. Importer, nominated agency have to follow customs carrotter rules, we say in short form. They have to follow customs administration of rules of origin under free trade agreements, rules 2020. And supplier of silver has to fulfill, supplier at the UAE, they have to fulfill the product specific rule, PSR rule of CTSH. This is change of the subheading plus 3% value addition. So whatever, initially the manufacturer or the supplier purchase in UAE, they have to change the subheading, means we have to change the HS code of that. They have to convert that into some other thing. It will be of silver only, and then they have to add the value of 3% also. So these are the, in brief, which we have given. Another thing I would like to mention here is that, IBJA, FinMet, and IGBC, they have played a very important role in this, particularly in getting the date of extension for filing the application for the financial year 2023-24. So initially, when the application for 23-24 were asked, at that time, the eligibility conditions were very strict. Only jewelers could apply, having 90% of their turnover into jewelry business. But on 17th of April 2023, the eligibility conditions were relaxed. Subsequently, then the allotted quantities were announced by DGFT, and there were only 78 applications received from in the DGFT, who were allotted a quantity of 140 tons. But at that time, this was announced on 18th April, and 17th April eligibility conditions were relaxed. entirely. Only IEC code is necessary. No jewelry is business is required. Anybody having IEC code could apply. So then IPJA, FinMet, and IGPC. In fact, IPJA played a very important role, and then they represented to the DGFT and other government authorities, and then they were able to get the date of extension. This was a genuine cause for the betterment of the industry, and the date of application of TRQ was extended with relaxed norms. So anybody who could file, who is having IEC code, may or may not be in the jewelry business, who could also apply. So they got the date extension by around 10 days, and the application received increased from 78 to 341. So this was a great achievement. I would like to thank all of them for this achievement. Thank you so much. And if there is any question, you are most welcome.
Inviting our next speaker onto the podium, sir.
Thank you very much for those who have come here. And it has been such an honor to partner with this event of bullion industry. As IIBX, it's our endeavor, and we are making all the efforts to ensure that we bring economic value to the bullion industry. Both sides, the suppliers who are coming on IIBX to sell gold, and the buyers who are wanting to buy the gold through IIBX. Let's come to this topic immediately, and then we will quickly. So thank you, Premnath ji, for a very comprehensive presentation. Thank you very much. But let me just relate it to IIBX because I understand there has been some confusion in the market, though rightly, because when you read government notifications, obviously the way they are drafted, they are related to various interpretations, and how you want to look at it, from which prism you are looking at it also depends. Just I'll give you one point. This year, when the TRQ quota was to be allotted, the option to take gold through IIBX was not enabled. 7th May was the last day. The second round, there was first round, there was some confusion, and thanks to the intervention of IPJA and others, there was a second round, and the last day for second round was 7th May. And on 8th May, we were told that IIBX option has been enabled. And what does it mean? That the qualified jewelers who are registered with IIBX and who have been so notified by our regulator IFSC can take TRQ gold through us. There is also one more notification which I would like to bring to your attention, though this has been mentioned by Premnath ji, but I want to read it very specifically for everyone. This was actually issued last April in 2022. That's where that whole CEPA declaration came. This is a public notice it was 1st May, issued by DGFT. I'll read the para H, which says, reference notification number 22/2022 of customs dated 30th April for gold TRQ imports under 7108 may be affected by the TRQ holder through qualified jewelers as notified by IFSC. I've read the relevant part which is applicable to us. And I want to thank Augmont for being the first qualified jeweler through whom a TRQ holder who is not a qualified jeweler has been able to import gold through us. So thank you for all the support. Though normally as an exchange, I don't like to give the names from the podium, but it was very important for us because there is this confusion in the market whether the TRQ holders who are non-qualified jewelers, can they take the gold through IIBX? Yes, you can take, and this one sample transaction has been done, and now I am very happy to report that there are multiple non-qualified jeweler TRQ holders who have already reached out to qualified jewelers through whom they want to take the gold through IIBX. There are various advantages for taking gold through IIBX, which is not the topic at this discussion, but I'm throughout the day and tomorrow also I'm here. I'm happy to have one-on-one discussion that what are the advantages we bring. Second point which Premnath ji mentioned, and let me come to that also, where it was mentioned that, and let me catch the bull by horn. It was mentioned that the qualified jeweler, when they are taking the TRQ gold through IIBX, then there is some confusion whether the job work can be done by them or not. It was specifically mentioned in the presentation that only those who have the manufacturing facility can do it. I have a different reading of this circular, and let me read this circular for all of you and kindly read it, because I have had, because this confusion has been there in the market, because that's how the English is written and English is read. But one thing let me clarify. At no stage government has any intention to create two sets of TRQ holders, or let me put it, the two classes of TRQ holders. That means a TRQ holder, if they take it from the nominated agency and bank, they can do the job work. But if the TRQ holder takes it through IBX, they cannot do the job work. This has not been the intention, and I have spoken to the authorities, and that's what they have told me. But they have said, Mr. Gautam, why people are reading it differently? It is very clearly written in this paragraph. I have said, sir, even though it is written in the paragraph, and I agree with you what you are saying, but still there is a confusion. They say, okay, we will see how do we remove this confusion. But let me read that paragraph, and so that you also get a clarity in the way I am reading this paragraph. The paragraph is here, which is a customs notification, point number F. Let me give you the, this is circular number 18-2022 of customs dated 10th September 2022. I want to make it very clear here because there is so much confusion in the market. Point number F of para 4.2, which talks about specified end use. And that's where this whole confusion started. Please understand, when this circular was issued, IIBX was not enabled. IIBX got enabled on, I gave you the date, 8th of May this year. Okay, let's read in that context. The restrictions on job work are only relating to the cases where it is undertaken on the goods belonging to the importer. Here, when this circular was issued, who was the importer? Nominated banks and agencies. And in nobody's right mind, nominated banks or agencies were going to do the job work or any such thing. That's why the instructions were put on them. But let's come to the next line, which says, and does not apply to the end use recipient who receives the goods on the supply and deals with it as stipulated in the notification. Now please, gentlemen and ladies, who is the end use recipient? The TRQ holder is the end use recipient. So when the TRQ holder as QJ is importing, at the point that import activity is happening is the importer, but when it receives the goods in their hand, they are the end use recipient because they are the holder of the TRQ in their hand. So they are the end user recipient. And that restriction of job work does not apply to the end user recipient. Now that's the English I am reading. Now people are free to read the English they want to read, but still if there is some confusion, we have requested to the authorities, kindly issue the clarification because it can be issued. But another thing let me tell you which has not been mentioned. When you are importing the goods, you have to submit form number IGCR1. So who will submit? The nominated agencies and nominated banks. Sir, correct me if I am wrong anywhere. And in this case, when the qualified jeweler as a nominated agency imports for their own use, I'm coming to the other part also, they submit IGCR1. And when they are using it as an end use recipient, they will submit IGCR3 again, so that all the things what they have done for manufacture with the job work or without the job work, because that is written in the DGFT notification also, that the TRQ holder can manufacture with or without job work. It's very clearly spelled out. But if there is a confusion, it will be sorted.
So once you have it in your hand, then you will file IGCR 3 as an end use recipient, and that's when your bond will be released. Now let's come to the other part where the non-QJ TRQ holders are taking the gold through the qualified jeweler. Here again, the qualified jeweler as a nominated agency written in the DGFT issued TRQ certificate will file IGCR 1, and when the gold is in the hand of the non-QJ TRQ holder, they will file IGCR 3. Some confusion has been given in the market that, if you are taking gold through IIBX, you have to grapple with customs, you will be doing so many things. My dear friends, whether you take gold from IIBX or not, IGCR 3 in any case you will have to file, because that is a condition given at this point of time. We have also represented to the government, kindly do away with this whole IGCR problem, because in silver and various other FTAs when you do, there is no IGCR rule. They are considering it, but till the time that happens, I thought I'll stand here and give my interpretation. But please, you're free to have your interpretation, consult any consultant, any legal expert, take their views. Only on the basis of expert advice, kindly act. But I have given you my interpretation. Next comes a point regarding silver. Let me tell you some good news, though it's an internal information, but because it has been given to me. On 31st July, Department of Commerce has already written to DGFT that let silver be allowed to be imported through IIBX. We are just waiting for the DGFT notification to come. We are hoping by September end it should be there. I only had this much to say. Happy interactions throughout the day, lot of presentations and group discussions and panel discussions are there. I'm sure you all are going to be greatly benefited by that. I will also be sitting there and enjoying and trying to learn more. But I want to thank each one of you who have trusted IIBX in its infancy. And I just cannot thank you enough for the support you all have given. Let me assure you, next year when I am here standing and wherever is your next conference is, I believe that there will be many people who have taken the gold, whether the TRQ gold or the non-TRQ gold or the silver TRQ or non-TRQ. And also, we are going to launch by end of September for all of you the gold futures with the option for delivery. Watch this space. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ashok Gautam.